10 years ago, on Easter Sunday, 20th of April 2014, this church building was formally opened, and in a service of thanksgiving and praise was dedicated to be used for the glory of God in this community, to be a place where people can experience the saving and transforming power of the risen Lord Jesus Christ. 2 years beforehand, the parcel of land had been set aside for this purpose, and a simple cross was set up as a visual symbol. We were not to know then, but the builders treated that cross with the utmost reverence and protected it throughout all their building and development activities, and it has continued to stand in its place to this very day. The cross is visible in quite a few of the pictures being shown here. I wonder if you can accurately count how many times it appears. On the 26th of June 2011, the church members and adherents gathered together on the grass and, led by Bishop Bob Gillis, consecrated the ground for the glory of God. Although the plot of land has the appearance of rough pasture, it actually contained some very beautiful flowers. This picture shows some that were gathered by Amy Stewart on that day of consecration, which she subsequently dried and mounted. There was no building to protect the congregation from the weather, only a small marquee erected for the occasion. But they rejoiced nonetheless, for they trusted that in God's time and providence the building would indeed be completed. Standing with Bishop Bob is Canon Ken Gordon, then rector of St Devenick's Church, Beeldside, who many years before had shared the vision of planting a church in Westhill, and about to cut the celebration cake is the then church rector, the Reverend Ian Ferguson. 6 months later, the builders were about to move on site and lay the foundations of the church building. Ian Ferguson led the congregation in celebrating communion on the site on New Year's Day 2013. 2 weeks later, on a bitterly cold morning, an excavator started work on the site. The new houses that now exist on the northern perimeter of the site were not there at that time, but development was about to start on them too. 5 months later, the ground had been cleared, the foundations laid, and the structural framework of the building erected. 2 to 3 months after this, the walls and roofs were nearing completion. By the end of 2013, the roof and wall cladding was almost finished. During the next 3 months, final tasks were undertaken, including preparation of the access road and the car parks. And so, on Easter Day 2014, the ribbon was cut and we entered the building for our first service of thanksgiving and worship. After the service, we gathered for the first time in the Green Pastures Cafe area for refreshments and fellowship together. The following Easter, we remembered the building's first anniversary and released helium balloons in celebration. It is a curious thing and may be purely accidental, but all these pictures of the building work in progress show overcast skies. But on the day the building was opened, and again on its first anniversary, the sky was azure blue and the sun shone brightly. It seemed as though God was shining down his blessing on the new building. As I conclude this presentation, I must record thanks to Maria Ballantyne for her diligence over the years in keeping photographic records of church events, and for suggesting the pictures that we have seen today.